Hello everybody! Now that the Suns are starting to get healthy with Jalen Green coming back and are 8-3 in their last 11 games, let's talk about each game and see if we're potentially watching a team that can be the 4th seed in the West. The Suns destroyed the Kings. I actually went to this game and in the first quarter the Suns were really bad defensively. I'm not putting the full blame on Mark Williams, but he was a good example of how bad the Suns were defensively in that first quarter. Anytime Mark was guarding Keegan Murray or Maxime Renaud, they would always have enough space to hit an open shot. But the Suns got lucky. Book was cooking in that first quarter. He scored 20 points on 8 for 12 shooting to give the Suns a 3-point lead at the end of the first quarter. The Suns and Kings continued to trade buckets with the Suns playing better defensively. Oso had a lot of great moments in the second quarter. I was legit surprised when Oso drove to the rim and dunked on Renaud. Oso needs to start doing more of that to make the Suns bench more dangerous offensively. With 1 minute left in the second quarter, the Kings had a 1-point lead, but the Suns went on a quick 7-0 run to give the Suns a 6-point lead at halftime. The Suns in the third quarter looked like the Suns that we're used to seeing. They went on a 13-4 run to have a 14-point lead early in the third quarter with Book, Brooks, and Mark Williams all scoring. The Kings had chances to cut the lead to single digits, but the Suns always had a response. That run basically sealed the game for the Suns. The Suns mostly played their bench when Book, Brooks, and Williams checked out late in the third quarter, and what makes this win impressive is that the Suns bench was able to increase the lead to 27. I know the Kings are dealing with injuries, but they should be a little ashamed that they couldn't even score or defend against the Suns bench. This was a really good win for the Suns, especially after that bad loss against the Cavs. The Suns beat the Thunder in a close game. In the first quarter, the Suns' defensive rotations were really slow that it led to the Thunder having open threes and hitting them. And with the Suns being really cold on offense, it led to the Thunder having a 15-point lead early in the first quarter. But the Suns finally started hitting threes and had an 11-0 run to cut the lead to single digits at the end of the first quarter. Shout out to Goodwin for hitting back-to-back threes to spark that run. It was looking pretty bad for the Suns before he hit those threes. The second quarter felt like the ref show. The Thunder were getting calls that the Suns couldn't get on the other side. A good example of this is that instead of calling a foul for Brooks when Chet touched his shoulder, they reviewed the play for a flagrant foul against Brooks. With the refs calling everything against the Suns, none of the Suns players were able to get into rhythm, and that led to the Thunder having an 18-point lead in the second quarter. But the Suns found a way to crawl back by hitting threes and had an 11-0 run to cut the Thunder's lead to 7 at halftime. The second half of this game was just amazing execution from the Suns. It didn't matter how big the Thunder's lead was. The Suns always found a way to hit important shots to keep the game close. For example, the Thunder late in the third quarter had an 8-point lead, but Goodwin and Dunn both hit 2 threes to give the Suns a 1-point lead at the end of the third quarter. The Thunder are champions for a reason though and had a 6-point lead with 3 minutes remaining in the game. But again, the Suns kept doing what they've been doing all season. They got stops, rebounds, and hit important shots to give them a 2-point lead with 1 minute remaining. Brooks was able to hit a clutch 3 to give the Suns a 4-point lead, but sadly Brooks turned it over and the Thunder were able to make back-to-back shots to tie the game up with 8 seconds remaining. But Devin Booker called game with an amazing step back 3 over 2 of the best defenders in the NBA to win this game. I know this is a random game in January, but this game is just a good example of what this Suns team has done all season. In this game, the Suns didn't have Jalen Green or Grayson Allen. They could have used that as an excuse and stopped trying when they were down 18 points, but they didn't do that. They continued to play hard, get stops, and out rebound the Thunder by 20. Shout out to Goodwin too. The Suns needed every single 3 that he made in this game. The Rockets beat the Suns in a close game. In the first quarter, the Rockets had a slow start to the game, so the Suns had an 8-point lead early, but the Rockets were able to come back pretty easily and tie the game because the refs decided to not call any fouls on the Rockets. This fast break layup that Jordan Goodwin had should have been an and one, but the refs didn't call it. Speaking of Jordan Goodwin, that man got hot late in the first quarter and hit 3 threes to give the Suns a 4-point lead after the first quarter. The bench mob started cooking early in the second quarter to give the Suns a 9-point lead with Collin and Royce hitting threes, but the Rockets hit some important threes to cut the lead to 3 late in the second quarter. Grayson Allen had some important plays at the end of halftime to give the Suns a 6-point lead. He had a steal that led to the Suns scoring in transition, and he had a lob to Oso for a dunk. In the third quarter, the Suns went on an 11-2 run to have an early 3-point lead, but the Rockets responded with a quick 9-0 run to cut the lead to 4. Royce was able to make a 3 after a timeout to stop the run, but the Rockets continued to have an 18-6 run to give the Rockets a 5-point lead early in the fourth quarter. The Suns offense during that run got cold and they couldn't get any rebounds. At this point, it felt like the game was over for the Suns because they were tired from playing the day before. But the Suns were on a 10-0 run to have a 3-point lead late in the fourth quarter, and Amen Thompson responded with an and-one layup to tie the game up. It seemed like maybe we would get another Devin Booker game winner, but the Rockets played some good defense and Book shot an airball. KD got the ball and hit a dagger 3 to win the game for the Rockets. Man, if you told me that the Suns would beat the Thunder and be one shot away from beating the Rockets, I would have been really happy. But watching it live had me in Spain, but without the S. The real question though is, why do the Rockets get to play 2 games against the Suns when they're on a back-to-back? It just makes no sense. The Suns destroyed Memphis. In the first quarter, Triple J was getting everything he wanted on offense. He has the length and jumper to hit shots over the Suns' best defensive players because the Suns lacked the length needed to bother him. So he was able to score 11 points in 8 minutes for Memphis, but it's okay. Brooks, Book, and Grayson Allen scored a combined 20 points in the first quarter to give the Suns an 8-point lead. It was nice to see Grayson Allen hit 2 threes in the first quarter since he didn't score at all in the Rockets game. Early in the second quarter, the bench mob was cooking. Oso has been really confident offensively lately. He had a crossover in this game that had me shook, and like always, Colin hits a 3 to give the Suns an 8-point lead. Even Fleming joined the action and dunked over Triple J. Once the starters came in, they extended the lead to 18 at halftime. Memphis just couldn't hit any shots late in the second quarter, while Brooks was feeling himself and hit back-to-back threes. And Book helped out too by hitting back-to-back middies to extend the lead. That run at halftime basically sealed the game for the Suns. Memphis was never able to go on another run to cut the lead to single digits. I know Memphis is on a back-to-back, but this is a good win for the Suns. They beat a team they were supposed to beat, and everyone had a good moment, especially Fleming. Hopefully the Suns keep him in the rotation because Fleming has been giving them solid minutes. The Suns beat the Knicks in a close game. In the first quarter, the Suns were on a 16-4 run to give the Suns an 8-point lead. Brooks hit 3 threes and Mark Williams was driving to the rim from the 3-point line. That's something that we've never seen from him this season. I know Cat was guarding him in that play, so it made it easier for him to score, but I would like to see more of that from Mark. The Suns' biggest lead was 11, but their offense went cold to end the first quarter. They were missing easy layups and open threes that led to the Knicks cutting the lead to 5. Early in the second quarter, the Knicks were able to get a 1-point lead and the Suns were able to respond, but both teams continued to trade buckets back and forth to have the lead. The Suns were able to end the first half with a 2-point lead because Book and Brooks started cooking in the second quarter and combined for 21 points. In the third quarter, the Knicks were on a 7-0 run to give them a 1-point lead, but the Suns quickly responded with a 14-0 run to give them a 12-point lead. I'm not surprised that Royce hit 2 threes to spark that run, but I'm really surprised that Book was able to hit 2 threes to help build that lead. Like, this man is shooting 30% from 3 this season. In the fourth quarter, the Knicks started playing their double big lineup and the Suns had no answers for their offensive rebounding. The Knicks were able to cut the lead little by little until they tied the game with 2 minutes remaining. Book responded by hitting a midi and Royce hit an important 3 to give the Suns a 3-point lead with 30 seconds remaining. With also missing both his free throws, I thought this game might end with a loss, but Grayson Allen came in clutch with a defensive play to win this game for the Suns. It's just wild how many times this team comes in clutch to win these games. The Knicks had chances to win this game, but the Suns always had a response to keep their lead throughout the second half. The Suns destroyed the Wizards. The Suns looked like they were in control early in the game with a 7-point lead, but the Wizards were able to tie the game with 2 minutes remaining, and a big part of that run was Alex Sarr. In 9 minutes, he had 9 points and 5 rebounds. He was scoring and playing some good defense, but Book's playmaking helped the Suns in the first quarter with a 4-point lead. In the first quarter alone, Book had 6 assists and 0 turnovers. The bench in that second quarter started cooking and gave the Suns a 13-point lead on a 10-2 run. Dunn sparked that run with back-to-back amazing plays. He had a huge dunk off a Goodwin miss and hit a corner 3 in the next play, and he was getting stops on the other side with 2 blocks and 1 steal. The starters came in and kept playing good to increase the lead to 15 at halftime. The Suns in the third quarter went a 26-5 run to give the Suns a 32-point lead early in the fourth quarter. That run basically sealed the game for the Suns. The MVP of that run has to be the whole team. They didn't give the Wizards a chance to even go on a little run. The Suns would always hit a 3 or draw fouls to increase the lead. They were playing some amazing defense, especially the bench. The length and versatility of Fleming, Dunn, Goodwin, and Oso is so good. Fleming and Dunn have the length that even when they get beat off the dribble, they can still get a block from behind. It's nice to know that I can watch the Suns play against a bad team and know they'll find a way to win the game. The Suns from last year would have been in a dogfight with this type of Wizards team because that team cannot handle young and athletic teams. The Suns choked late in the fourth quarter and lost to the Heat. The first quarter was the Bam show. This man has been cheeks for a whole month but somehow dropped 10 points in 1 quarter and hit 2 threes. The Heat deserve some credit though, they were playing some good defense. They were making the Suns put in the work to get the shots they wanted, and were not letting the Suns get offensive rebounds. So the Heat went on a 12-4 run in the first quarter to have a 10-point lead. Grayson Allen dropped 13 points off the bench to keep the game close, but once he came out, the Suns couldn't score and the Heat got the lead up to 16 early in the second quarter. Brooks tried his best to spark a run by scoring 9 straight points, but the Heat kept scoring. It felt like everyone on the Heat were just driving to the rim and scoring easily on the Suns defense. The Heat ended the first half with a 17-point lead, but the Suns started cooking early in the third quarter with a 27 run to cut the lead to 4. The Suns were finally able to get some stops and get rebounds to score in transition. My favorite part of that run was Book hitting a pull-up 3 and Colin getting a steal on the next play that led to a fast break layup from Mark Williams. The Suns and Heat continued to trade buckets. The Suns were able to tie the game at the buzzer with also getting an and one. The Suns are finally able to get a 5-point lead early in the fourth quarter with Colin hitting back-to-back threes, but the Heat continued to respond to the Suns shot making late in the fourth quarter to keep the game close. With 1 minute remaining, the game was tied, but the Suns played some horrible defense and left Powell open for 3. The Suns had chances to tie the game, but they had back-to-back turnovers that led to the Heat winning this game. This is a tough loss, especially when Bam hasn't scored more than 25 points since December 1st. I know Bam is an all-star level player, but that man made 4 threes in this game when he's shooting 30% from 3 this season. But by the end of the day, it's the Suns' fault for being down 17 points in the first half. The Suns lost a close game against the Pistons. The Suns understood the assignment in the first quarter. They were playing some amazing defense on Cade. They didn't give him any space to get easy buckets. And the Suns had Brooks, Colin, and Grayson Allen cooking offensively to make up for Book missing this game. Especially Grayson, that man had 13 points and made 3 threes in the first quarter. Him and Colin sparked the 13-3 run at the end of the first quarter to give the Suns a 10-point lead. The Suns continued their defensive pressure early in the second quarter and were trying to make Cade pass instead of score. And even when Cade did try to score, he was 1 for 9 from the field. The Suns' biggest lead in the second quarter was 16, but the Pistons finally woke up and went on a 17-5 run late in the second quarter to cut the lead to 6. And that was with Cade sitting on the bench. The Suns responded back but missed some easy free throws to have a larger lead. The Suns ended the first half with a 7-point lead. The third quarter was a battle between both teams. The Suns were able to get the lead up to 9 points, but the Pistons quickly responded with a 19-5 run to get a 5-point lead. The Pistons played some good defense and the Suns offense went really cold. Some people might be annoyed that the Suns lost a 16-point lead, but the Pistons are one of the best Eastern Conference teams, and the Suns are missing 2 important players for their offense in Book and Jalen Green, so the Pistons were eventually going to make a run, but the Suns were able to escape the third quarter with a 1-point lead. The Suns tried their best in the fourth quarter to win this game. They had an early 5-point lead in the fourth quarter, but the Suns offense went cold and the Pistons were able to get a 6-point lead with 3 minutes remaining. The Pistons and Suns traded buckets, with Grayson Allen scoring 7 points late in the fourth quarter to keep the game close, and he had a chance to send the game to OT but Allen missed, and the Pistons won the game by 3 points. The Suns had multiple chances to win this game, but with Brooks following out and the Suns missing 9 free throws, the Suns didn't have enough on offense to close this game out. I'm happy that the Suns were close to beating a contender with no Jalen Green and Devin Booker, but I would be way happier with this loss if the Suns were able to beat the Heat a couple days ago. The Suns beat the Knicks. The Knicks had a great start to the first quarter. They went on a 12-2 run to have an early 7-point lead. The Suns had chances throughout the first quarter to go on a run and take the lead. There was like 3 minutes in that quarter where the Knicks didn't make a single field goal, but the Suns had a lot of shots that were just short that they usually make. So the Knicks had an 8-point lead at the end of the first quarter, but the Suns opened the second quarter with a 15-2 run to get a 4-point lead. Grayson Allen sparked that run by hitting back-to-back nasty threes, but the Knicks quickly responded with a 15-4 run to get a 7-point lead. The Suns didn't help themselves by having back-to-back turnovers that led to easy transition points for the Knicks. The Suns late in the first half were able to hit some important shots to keep the game close with Allen hitting a 3, but the Knicks ended the first half with a 1-point lead. The Suns in the third quarter had an early 6-point lead with Mark Williams getting a block that led to a Royce 3, but the Suns stopped playing defense and let the Knicks go on a 16-0 run to get a 10-point lead. That run was the Deuce McBride show. That man hit 3 threes, but the Suns showed some pride and put on a defensive clinic. The Knicks went scoreless for 4 minutes and the Suns capitalized. They went on a 13-0 run to end the third quarter with a 3-point lead. Book capped it off by hitting a tough and one at the buzzer. Collins started cooking in the fourth quarter with 8 straight points to spark an 11-2 run to give the Suns an 8-point lead. The Knicks were able to cut the lead to 5 with 2 minutes remaining, but the Suns kept hitting important shots to win this game. I know the Knicks didn't have Jalen Brunson or Josh Hart, but it's still the Suns' third game on a long road trip. Any win is a good one after 2 heartbreaking losses to the Pistons and Heat. The Suns beat the Nets. The Suns in the first quarter were locked in and looked like they were ready to blow out the Nets. In the first quarter, the Suns had a 25-7 run that gave them a 14-point lead. Brooks, Collin, and Book were all cooking offensively. They combined for 26 points with Brooks hitting 3 threes. The bench mob in the second quarter were able to get the lead up to 20. And if the Suns just got a couple more stops, they could have easily ended the first half with a 30-point lead. But the Suns started playing with their food and let the Nets go on a 24-8 run to cut the Suns lead to 4 in the first half. I know the Nets have been playing good basketball lately, but the Suns giving up a 24-8 run to a Nets team that has one of the worst offenses in the league is wild. But the Suns woke up and started cooking early in the third quarter to have a 13-point lead. And a big reason for that run is Mark Williams. That man was getting some crazy blocks on Nick Claxton and was getting offensive rebounds to get easy second chance points for the Suns. Late in the third quarter, Grayson Allen started cooking with a crazy finish at the rim, and he hit back-to-back threes early in the fourth quarter to push the Suns lead to 18. But the Suns started getting sloppy again with bad turnovers and let the Nets go on a 16-3 run to cut the lead to 5. But the Suns locked in defensively and hit important shots to keep their lead. Royce late in the fourth quarter hit the dagger 3 to push the Suns lead to 9 and win this game. This is a good team win with everyone contributing. The Suns had 6 players scoring double digits and they shot 50% from 3 in this game. This should have been a blowout if the Suns didn't get sloppy and let the Nets go on any runs, but any win is a good one. The Suns beat the Sixers. The Suns were building a house in the beginning of the first quarter. They didn't score their first field goal until the 7:30 mark. They legit missed their first 9 field goals and somehow were only down 2 points. The main event of this game came halfway through the first quarter, and his presence was already felt when he drove to the rim and got free throws. Jalen Green's rim pressure is the one thing that the Suns offense has been missing, and with him coming back, it gives the Suns best 3-point shooters and him more space to operate. And we saw that when Jalen Green drove to the rim and passed it to Oso for an easy layup. Even with the Suns' rough start, the Sixers only ended the first quarter with a 2-point lead. Early in the second quarter, the Suns were on a 26 run to give them a 5-point lead. The Suns ended that run with Collin, Grayson Allen, and Royce all hitting threes back to back. They really hit 4 threes in a row in 90 seconds. But the Suns had some terrible turnovers that led to the Sixers getting some easy transition points and a 2-point lead halfway through the second quarter. But the Suns were on an 8-2 run to end the first half with a 4-point lead. And the one that sparked that run is Jalen Green. He was making the right reads when he was driving to the rim or shooting. The Sixers threw the first punch to open the third quarter with a 13-2 run to give them a 7-point lead. But the Suns went on their own 13-3 run to get the lead back up to 3 with Book, Collin, and Royce all hitting threes. And the Suns ended the third quarter with a 12-2 run to give them a 13-point lead. And again, the one that sparked that run was Jalen Green. That man had a nasty step back 3 and a finish that had me jumping off the couch. The Suns in the fourth quarter had a 17-point lead, so it looked like the game was over. But the Sixers had a 15-5 run late in the fourth quarter to cut the Suns lead to 7. The Suns had too many bad turnovers and let the Sixers get offensive rebounds for second chance points. The ending of this game took forever. It felt like neither team could score for 3 minutes, and the Suns somehow ended the game with a win. Overall, this was a good team win for the Suns with 6 Suns players scoring in double figures, and this was an amazing game from Jalen Green. He was making so many highlight plays that I'm surprised he only scored 12 points, 3 assists, and 2 rebounds. Let's talk about Jalen Green's first game back. In 20 minutes off the bench, Jalen Green had 12 points, 3 assists, and 2 rebounds. It's really obvious when you watch the Suns how athletic and fast Jalen Green is compared to everyone else on this team. Like, this man drove to the rim at full speed from half court, stopped, and then hit a step back 3. And every time he drove to the rim, he made it look like it was easy for him to score, because he could beat whoever was in front of him with just his first step. But what impressed me the most was his passing. Coming into this season, I thought he was going to be a negative passer and not make the easy reads, but he made the right read every time he ran a pick and roll with Oso. And man, him and Oso's chemistry in this game was chef's kiss. The play where Oso catches the ball and passes it back to Jalen Green for an easy layup had me excited. We're definitely going to see more of those two playing together, so it's nice to see that they're already building some good chemistry. And what's wild is that we're probably only seeing 75% of what Jalen Green is capable of. He hasn't played an NBA basketball game in 2 months and hasn't played enough games yet to be in shape. So so I wonder how Jalen Green will look once he plays 5 to 10 games. The Suns in their last 11 games are 8-3. Most of those wins have been against terrible teams, but the Suns deserve credit for handling the bad teams like the Kings, Nets, and Wizards. Other teams in the West like the Lakers and Rockets lost to the Kings when they should have won. The best game the Suns have played in this stretch is easily against the Thunder. The Suns are going to play the Thunder 2 more times this season for a total of 5 games. The Thunder already beat the Suns twice, so it's nice to see that the Suns won at least one game against them. And that's a really good win when you remember that Book hit the dagger 3 over 2 of the best defenders in the NBA. But even with the Suns going 8-3, the Suns haven't made much of a dent in the West standings. Right now they're the 6th seed, but with Jalen Green coming back, maybe they can go on a little run to secure a top 4 seed before the All-Star break. The Suns are basically competing against the Wolves, Lakers, and Rockets for that 4 seed, and they're only 0.5 games behind the Rockets, who are the 4 seed right now. So if the Suns really want to be a 4 seed, they would probably need to go 8-3. The good thing though is that the Suns have tiebreakers over the Lakers and Wolves. So if those teams ever have the same record, the Suns will have the better seed. But that's it for me today, guys. If you guys like this video, drop some comments down below, like the video, subscribe. I appreciate the support, and I'll see you guys next time.